Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Mask for the Man, or 12-inch, or whatever. I guess I've told everybody about this channel. This channel is not for this. This channel is my touchy-feely stuff. This movie pissed me off. Actually, so much. I can't, it's hard to explain because I just see nothing but phenomenal reviews for it. The dad in this movie, there's spoilers ahead, by the way. I mean, obviously, it's gonna be like a review. The dad in this movie, is distractingly shitty. Just like the worst father I may have ever seen. Like, they're trying to, and like, maybe it's like a man's journey and it's supposed to be like a very masculine film. And, yeah, like, cool. I love masculine films, okay? Like, Saving Private Ryan and Gladiator and yeah, but fuck yeah, like I get it. And Tom Hardy's awesome, okay? Their dad is just the worst guy ever, and they give him way too much screen time. Cause like, look, okay, a lot of people grew up and their father figures weren't great. My dad, when I was a kid, kind of sucked. Okay, he taught me some important shit, just like their dad taught them some important shit, right? But like, it was a consistent slow road to improvement. This man just tried to hop back in his kids' lives like 15, 16 years later. Like, he just thought it was gonna be kosher. He just thought it was gonna be cool. Like, he never checked in on him, like anything, and he was expecting forgiveness the whole time. And like, Tom Hardy is in the right. Also, he was an animal. God, Tom Hardy was great in this movie, actually. Tom Hardy was so good. The fact that they didn't have him win is mind-numbing to me. He threw more punches at the other dude, the brother. I don't even know his name, okay? Because I'm not going to look it up. I'm not looking up the brother, okay? We're talking, they had never even considered splitting the prize money. Like, Tom Hardy's like, I'm just going to give all of the money to this widow. Like, they don't even resolve that. They're not even like, oh, like, his brother decided to split it off a little bit or something like that. Because, like, Tom Hardy, he's fighting to fight. But, I mean, like, if you were like, hey, like, do you want a grudge match or do you want a millie for your dude's widow? Like, Tom Hardy's character is insane in some ways, but he's really just like a wounded, hurt animal, right? Like, he has nobody in his corner ever. They really had, like, look, the dad relapsing, fine. Man, you didn't set up room service to call you or something? You had no failsafe. Like, if the dad slept through his alarm, was he just not going to show up? Because Tom Hardy wasn't going to wake his ass up ever. It was never going to happen. Tom Hardy was never going to do that. So he had no failsafes. He was just going to miss it. Tom Hardy would have woken up, left in the night, and just gone to the fight. And the dude would have been like, damn, I guess I overslept the single most important match my son's ever had. Both of my sons at the same time. Whoops, I guess I missed it. Like, how could this man be in nobody's corner ever? This is not a movie about two MMA fighters. It's not a movie about a brother who defended his country, who has PTSD or just had a shitty life. This is not about a dude with a family who got the better side of things. Okay? This is about the shittiest dad I have ever seen in my life. Like, when Tom Hardy's like, you just expect to be forgiven, blah, blah, blah. And when the brother was like, oh, like, I forgave him. And Tom Hardy's like, oh, that's bullshit. We never came back to that. That never happened. We never ever readdressed the fact that he had never forgiven anybody. He didn't tap into his animal side. Why the fuck did we get these scenes? We got like a bunch of scenes where he was like, where everybody's talking about forgiveness. There was no forgiveness. Tom Hardy got his fucking arm damn near ripped off and got beaten into submission like an animal. They just treated him like an animal all movie. And I guess he is rather animalistic, but I mean, like, was this written by a big brother? Like, the big brother must always win? This guy was never gonna win. Look at Tom Hardy. Look at him. He's a tank. They're like, he ripped the door off a tank. That man was the tank. He was the troop carrier. He had like 50 people in him. Pause. No did he? But I mean, obviously Tom Hardy wins. Not only does Tom Hardy win, Tom Hardy won immediately. He punched this guy until the dude stopped functioning. Like, Tom Hardy had taken no damage, 0 damage for all of the fights leading up to it. Mr. Teacher took damage from none of that shit was clean. None of that shit was clean. And Tom Hardy absolutely spread him in the first round. He spread him in the second round. Up until this man ripped his shoulder in half, nothing happened. We're just not going to address it? I mean, it's not even like, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe that for the ultimate fight They had the dad get drunk and not be there and show up at the very end at the climax. How hard can you fail Tommy? How hard can you do? How hard can one dad fail? This is truly a story about a failure of a father. Because look, my dad was a hard ass when I was a kid. Okay, my dad ended up a lieutenant colonel. Okay, he was in command. He was command over a whole bunch of soldiers, right? And you know my siblings, you know my brother's 17 years younger than me. My sister's 15 years younger than me. They got a whole different dad than I got. All right, when I was a kid, he was a captain. You know, their kids, he's retired. It's a different ball game, right? And like I'm not tripping over that, right? But like my dad is like a genuinely good person. Okay, he wasn't necessarily a bad person when he kind of sucked when I was a kid. He was just fucked up. Like, and that happens. You know, I was his first kid. Like, I get it. Okay, like I got it, big dog. You know, but like this guy failed in every avenue of his life and then some. He was sober for 1,000 days. Like, have you guys ever kicked an addiction? Okay, like if you've ever kicked an addiction, I kicked an addiction, and I'm positive. I don't know how many people have had addictions to kick them. Anyway, kicking an addiction is like when people talk about rock bottom and about godliness. That's actually one of the things that pisses me off. This is a whole ass rant. Sorry guys, this is not gonna make a whole lot of sense. When people turn to God instead of themselves, they can fail because they weren't strong enough. They had to go to a higher power, which is the 12-step program, which he followed all 12 steps. But they never had him praying. They had one scene of the Bible at the start with the glasses on the Bible, right? He wasn't sitting there praying, you know, like, hey, like, God, give me strength. Let me do this, this, and this. He wasn't trying to take him to church. He wasn't going to church. Like, did anything the dad stood for, like, really matter? Because at the end of the day, like, he didn't train the winner. He wasn't even in the corner for the loser. He drank. He turned away from, I would say turned away from God, but that would imply that he was with God at one point. That would imply at one point he was a godly man. Right? The only other time he mentions God is when he's like calling Ahab like a godless bastard. And also, what is his white whale? What is his white whale? Like his kids liking him? Like the fighters winning? Being the best trainer? What the fuck is his arc? What is the dad there for? What is the dad doing? Like, we have 0 cornermen? The dad didn't think of any backups. He is like a legendary coach in this movie. He's one of the best. Everybody's like, wow, like this dude is so good. Like this dude's a little unorthodox. The other guy's a little unorthodox. Blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, what is happening? What is happening in this movie? My disbelief is not suspended. Okay? I am just in disbelief. I'm like, oh, like none of this shit makes sense. Like if you're a guy with a tough dad that reforms, you know that this movie is not how it happens. It just doesn't go down like that, right? There's a certain point in your life where you accept that your pop is never gonna apologize. You know, he's never gonna break it down. You will never feel somebody else validate the struggles you went through because you went through that struggle and nobody else, not a soul. Which is what Tommy understands in this shit. Tommy understands that his dad could never make up for it. His dad doesn't even comprehend what he went through. He understands that his brother, who also did not do anything to find Tommy. I would like to say, like, his brother is also at fault, right? But his brother ran off with his wife and kids and had his little white picket fence. Tommy was suffering horrifically, okay? Like, at a certain point, like, everybody has done Tommy horrifically, like, terribly. And instead of like actually trying to squash it, like he just comes like holier than thou. He's like, hey, check out my kids, check out my family. Like Tommy's life has sucked. And we haven't tried at all to improve it. We haven't tried to check up on him. The only reason why anybody cares about Tommy is because Tommy's an absolute beast in the cage. Tommy's an actual legit animal. And that's the only reason why anybody cares. No one cared about this man ever throughout this movie. Ever, 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 ever. Do you know what would have been a fantastic follow-up? Okay? He breaks his arm, he looks at him, and he realizes that Tommy is a human being. Tommy is a scared, wounded animal that has never been shown mercy or acceptance by anyone. You just ripped his arm out of your socket. Then this guy beat him down and choked him out and were hugging? Like, you didn't beat him into forgiveness. You didn't beat him into acceptance. You beat him into submission. Literally, you literally submitted him. That's the whole plot is we beat Tommy until he can't move. Like, we beat him emotionally. We beat him physically. His father beats him. Like, he's beaten with the word of God. He's beaten with sobriety. He's like, damn. They hate Tommy in this movie. They just hate him. I've never, like, and Tommy was a great character. Tommy was just him. He wasn't breaking his morals. He had axioms. He said, this is how I am. Like, every single time, he was like, the Marines are my brothers. Like, those are my brothers. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? When he says, they're my brothers, his reason for leaving is because they fired on him incessantly and killed his dudes. That makes sense. Everything he's done is for him. The math teacher? The math teacher just wanted to fight. He wanted to be the animal that Tommy was. And at the end, I guess he was, in his own, like, he's the good guy way, but he's not the good guy. The dad's not the good guy. Like, the guy's cornerman is kind of a good guy, and Tommy is a good guy. Tommy is the good, and the good got obliterated. And everybody cheered. Because the dude's a teacher. Like, I'm stunned. I can't believe it. I can't believe this movie is so praised. I looked online because the only reason why I'm making this video is because I looked online, because usually when I don't like a piece of media or I don't like a portion of it, I look online to see if other people agreed with me, so then I can sit there and listen to them rant, and then I can feel better about my opinion. I looked a decent amount to find people who didn't like the ending on this. I looked a decent amount for people who didn't like inconsistencies. I couldn't find a lot of things. Or really anybody criticizing this movie. It's got a 7 star. It's 7 stars. Okay? And people are calling it the Rocky of 2011s. Hell no. It's not the Rocky of 2011. No, it's not. Tommy could give me... Remove the brother, remove the teacher, remove the whole plot. Give me like 6 movies of Tommy from this show. Give me like 6 of them. Yeah, that could be the new Rocky. But this shit's not the new Rocky. What, the Rocky of 2011? Are you joking? Ugh. I'm not gonna edit this. I don't care. Enough. This has greatly frustrated me. It's not even the Mr. T of 2011. I don't want to think about it anymore. Whatever. Bye. If this is your first time in the channel, this is not what any of the videos are like. Bye.